Hello. Welcome to this new video. In this video, we're going to cover the basics of artificial intelligence and what it means, practically speaking, for the common people. There's a concept of artificial intelligence that it is designed or it is something that tech people use. And that's what you may see on the news here and there, new technologies that are supposedly going to take over the world, so on and so forth, and things like that. And then there's the other part of artificial intelligence, which is making your life easier and how you can program computers to perform tasks that are going to make your life easier. So, with that being said, I want to cover a general concept of artificial intelligence. And let me start by saying this: AI is when computers are programmed to perform tasks that usually require human intelligence. Some people may refer to it, and this is something that you see on the news quite often: computers are thinking, or this artificial intelligence program is smart. And in reality, they're just following a preset of instructions, advanced instructions, I should say. It's not anything simple like it was back in the days, but still they are feeding off of a set of programs and tasks that have been designed by humans or other artificial intelligence models. So yes, we can have artificial intelligence feeding artificial intelligence models to make them better, but even then it's not the same as thinking the same way that humans do. So AI doesn't really think like a person. Instead, it analyzes patterns in data and uses those patterns to generate responses and make predictions. And those responses and predictions could be right or wrong, depending on the model and depending on the data that the program was trained on. With that being said, I don't want to bore you with too many things. Let's talk about the most popular artificial intelligence applications as of now. Right now is May 2025. This list may change next month, and I'm sure that it's going to change next year. And as you could see, we have one of the most popular applications out there is ChatGPT. We also have Claude, we have Perplexity, we have Microsoft Copilot, we have DeepSeek, that was a big thing probably a couple of weeks ago or probably months ago because they released the R1 model and apparently it can do amazing things with less power than is required by the other companies. Then we have Google Gemini, then we have Mistral. And there's one more that I didn't include here, and that is the one that Elon Musk's, one of his companies, I believe X, I forget the name of that. But anyway, so there may be other companies, smaller companies that I didn't include in the list, and I'm sure there are. So let's go over to this comparison chart because there's something you need to understand right here. The AI tools are going to be as powerful as you can train them to be. Obviously, there is an underlying program and large language model that is going to improve the efficiency of the tool. But when it comes to the day-to-day things, you don't need to know the ins and out of things, right? You only need to train it. You need to become familiar with the tool to make your life easier. So what I did, I created this comparison chart with seven, or how many features I have? One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, with seven features. And I listed seven the most well-known tools as of now, that we have: ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and everything that I mentioned. Because each tool is going to be unique, and each tool may have a specific niche for a specific tasks. And that's what you need to find out when you want to utilize these tools to make your life easier. Now, the first feature is a little bit of a technical thing, and which is the model, which is the underlying brain that is powering the artificial intelligence. For instance, when we come here and we come to ChatGPT, this that you are seeing in front of you, it's simply a GUI interface or graphical user interface for you to interact with it. And the same for the others. But this interface that is right in front of you is not the brain of the artificial intelligence. This is just the screen that is going to be interacting with you, or that you're going to use to interact with the programs in the back end. So when it comes to the models, we have that ChatGPT uses GPT-4, and that's what you may hear on the news. And we have Claude from Anthropic, it uses Claude 3. Perplexity uses a different mix of large language models, and we have Microsoft that in the backend uses ChatGPT. And as you could see, some of these may rely on others, and we have Gemini and Mistral. So this is something of a technicality. If you want to implement artificial intelligence on your day-to-day things, and we're going to be talking about examples that you can use um, with artificial intelligence to make your life easier. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be talking about examples that you can use, and I'm going to show you things that are happening based on artificial intelligence that you are being a recipient of already, and you may not even know that. For instance, let me give you a quick example. When you're logging into uh, Netflix or Amazon, and you see these recommendations, all that is based on artificial intelligence. It knows your watching habits, and it knows what you like based on what you've watched in the past, and based on different criteria they may use, such as your location, age, sex, and a whole bunch of different factors that they take into account to make recommendations, right? So, focus area. So, for ChatGPT, and this is where it becomes interesting. uh ChatGPT is general purpose. Like, for instance, if you want to like looking for a recipe, if you want to create images, if you're looking to review code or help you coding something, ChatGPT is going to be one of the best tools that you can use for that. Whereas if you want to use things that are going to be more in the research and real-time web access, then you may want to go into Perplexity. Or if you want to automate many of the functions that you have available with different Microsoft Office 365 tools, then in that case, you may want to use Copilot. And the same thing if you move into the Google thing, you want to use a Gemini for different Google integrations. Perhaps you can, tell Gemini to go through your emails and find out when the next meeting is, and schedule a meeting with this person and that person, and invite this other person. So all those things can be automated, and depending on the specific tasks that you want to carry out, you may want to use a specific tool for that. But for general web browsing, or general information, I should say web browsing, any of the tools is going to do it for you. Something that you have to keep in mind, and this is very, very important, is if the tool has the ability of accessing up to date data from the internet. It does not mean that the data that is being accessed is accurate data, because, as you know, not everything on the internet is true. But not all tools have the ability of accessing up to date information. And that's something that you have to keep in mind. You may be asking yourself, if they don't have the ability of accessing up to date information of the internet, what are they used for? Well, remember that these tools are not web browsers. You could use these tools for tasks similar to what you would do in a web browser, right? Like, for instance, is avocado healthy? You could do things like that, but in reality, you are going to be limiting yourself if you use the tool just as a web browser, because that's not the main function of the tool. The main function of the tool is to follow specific tasks and do reasoning and research, and help you achieve a goal that you're looking for. So this is one of the big mistakes people make. Or I'm not going to say the big mistake. One of the big misconceptions is that people think that one of these tools is just to replace a web browser, and that's not the case, right? So, and as a matter of fact, many of these tools, as you research them or as you use them, it is going to tell you that as of this specific date is not obtaining new information from the web. So do your own research and verification. So you have to be super careful of that. So with that being said, I, in my case, prefer a tool that is going to have some type of access to the internet, such as ChatGPT, instead of having a tool that is completely isolated from the web. Now, you may be asking yourself, why would anyone have a tool that is completely isolated from the web? Because again, you're not relying on the tool to do up to date research on what's happening in the world. You may be using the tool to analyze a data set that you have on prem, that you have access to. And depending on the large language model that it's using, that we describe here, it's going to be able to understand that data that you have and produce the results that you have. And as a matter of fact, and this is something that I'm going to be working later, I'm going to try to set up my own artificial intelligence off the grid type of thing, where you can set up a couple of servers in your house. Obviously you need to download the the language models, and you need the data to train it. And when I get to that point, I create videos for that as well. So if that's something that may interest you. The other thing that I want to mention here is that interface, web mobile, API, web mobile, all of them have that, best for creation of learning, scripting. This is something that you have to pay attention to. And again, best for it is how I have trained the tool, how I find the tool, and then how I train the tool, right? For instance, I can do scripting on Perplexity, but it may not be the best thing because the model that is running in the background may need more training than the model that is running on ChatGPT. This is all about training the models and using the proper data and how the company is training itself. Then we have unique features. Let me come down here really quick. And we have code interpreter. That's pretty good. Constitutional AI, safeguard rails, access to sources, and deep integrations. So we have a lot of things. And the last thing that I want to mention in this video is the cost. And some of them are free, or maybe all of them offer some type of free version to it. And then you have a paid subscription. And with the paid subscription, you're going to be having access maybe to the latest models, and it's going to be able to keep your chat history, and it's going to be able to keep everything in memory for you to use. Now, I'm going to bring you a couple of things that you could do for day-to-day activities. And if I come here, we have, if you want to automate office functions, you may want to use Microsoft Copilot. If you use Office 365 for writing and explaining, you want to be using maybe ChatGPT, Research, Perplexity, Google Gemini for product tools, Claude for friendly safeguards, summarizations, and all that. The thing is, train the model, use them, and then you're going to be able to learn more about it and adapt it. And lastly, remember that these tools are not designed just for web searches. These are designed for analyzing data and analyzing tasks and automating tasks. So if you're using that just for as a web search, that's good, but there's more things that you can do with that. And if you like this video, click on the like button, consider subscribing to the channel so you can be updated on the new videos that I'm going to be creating on this topic. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next video.